Well, hello there and welcome to the channel. Now, those of you who are regular viewers to Walking Talking Gardens will know that I do like to pick through my newsfeed to see if there's any interesting articles that pop up that I can comment on. And thank goodness this week the Daily Mirror, no less, has published an article from Alan Titchmarsh regarding seven winter flowering plants that will give you colour throughout the winter. Well, I thought, it doesn't sound quite right, so I'll have to look at it and be honest with you, he's got some absolutely cracking suggestions for some plants. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through those and explain what they are and how to grow them. We're going to do it quickly though, otherwise we'll be here all day. And then after that, I'm going to give you 5 of my own suggestions, and then you can decide which ones you prefer. Doesn't really matter because it is all subjective. Everything's personal, and what you like may not be what somebody else is like. So we'll go on with it. And can I just point out that even though it says 7 on the article, there's actually only 6, and then there's 2 other cultivars, which makes 8, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know what? He didn't write it. He just gave me the information, and the Mirror wrote it. So without further ado, let's crack on with it. Right, the first suggestion from Alan Titchmarsh, one of my favourite TV garden presenters, is the Hamamelis, commonly known as your witch hazels. They are native to the Americas, and they come in a range of species. The most common one you're going to find is Hamamelis mollis, which is a lovely sort of flower on it, and then there's the hybrids, the intermediate cultivars. Now, fantastic plants. They will take full sun to light shade, slightly acidic compost, and the lovely thing about them, they're quite sweetly scented, but it's those ribbon like spidery blooms that come out, of which there are quite a few of these plants that have the Royal Horticultural Society's Award of Garden Merit. Now, if you want to know which of the Hamamelis are my favourite cultivars, well, they are Pallida, Jelena and Diane. Alan's second choice is the Chimonanthus praecox meaning early flowering, commonly known as the winter sweet or the Japanese allspice. It has 2 cultivars which have received the Royal Horticultural Society Award of Garden Merit. Those are Luteus and Grandiflora, and they are known for their lovely star-like yellow blooms with a purpley reddish centre to that flower. Again, very sweetly scented. Can grow quite tall, can grow up to about 4 meters tall, which is big. I don't particularly like it. I mean, it's a bit boring. The Chimonanthus praecox is not too fussed about its soil type, so long as it's regularly moist and free draining, and plant it in full sun, and really it's a bulletproof plant again, which is why it's got these awards. Now, Alan's third offering is the rock solid, or at least it used to be, and I'll talk about that shortly, Viburnum tinus. It's evergreen, it tolerates pretty much all soils, all sites, all conditions. Evergreen, can get quite big. I mean, you see in gardens easily 2-3 meters tall, though it can get bigger if just left to its own devices. Even take a nice cut and produce a really lovely kind of shaped shrub, but it's just planted everywhere. It's too good a plant, it's too good for its own good, so it's been planted in its thousands by the council, so it's everywhere, so it's kind of lost that ornamental value which plants that are more rarely seen have. So personally, I'm not a big fan of it because I see it everywhere, and regarding its toughness, it used to be absolutely bulletproof, but nowadays, at least around here on the south coast, I'm seeing more and more of some kind of fungal infection that takes out all that top growth. Now you can cut it and it can grow back, but this is a thing that seems to be here to stay because it keeps on coming back, and over time it will take that plant out. I try to find out exactly what rust this is, and as far there doesn't seem to be a lot of interest in the news. No one seems to be looking into it, but I'm sure they will as more plants become infected. It becomes one that you just don't buy anymore. But there you go, number 3, Viburnum tinus. Actually, no, that's 3 and 4 according to the Daily Mirror, even though that is 1 species and 2 cultivars, so technically that is 3 different plants, so that would make it 8 choices from Alan rather than the 7 that's in the title. Don't worry about it, let's go on to the next one. The next one is the winter jasmine. It's quite popular, and rightly so. It's got very green stems. It's got those yellow jasmine flowers. It's probably the only jasmine that you're going to get flowering at this time of year, and it flowers as a climber, although it's not a true climber. It's a shrub. You have to train it up a wall, which you will do fine, and it'll get to a decent size, 2 meters, 2.5 meters tall. It's very robust. It will tolerate most soils as long as they're, again, moisturing and reasonably moist and well drained throughout the year. And it's pretty tough. It's called Jasmine nudiflorum. The nudiflorum part relates to the stems not having any leaves on over the winter. It's a deciduous plant, but it still looks like it's evergreen because the thick stems are still completely full of chlorophyll, so they have a very strong green look with the blooms on top of that. So even though it looks evergreen, it's not evergreen. Do I like it? I can't stand that plant. I think it is ugly as sin. Horrible thing. I wouldn't have it anywhere near my garden, but that's just my opinion. Sorry, Alan. We're nearly there at the end. Alan's penultimate choice, there's a good word, is the evergreen clematis, Clematis serosa. Now there are 2 really good forms, selected forms of that, which is Wisley Cream and Freckles. Both of those have the Royal Horticultural Society's Award of Garden Merit. Now it doesn't get too big. It gets about 2.5, 3.5 meters tall. It's evergreen. It needs to be on a sunny wall. It needs to be it's not too fussed about its soil type, again, as long as it's reasonably moist and well drained throughout the year. So and some, especially on Freckles, the flowers, the detail in the flowers is absolutely incredible. But you know what? I don't think I've ever seen a good one. They always look like they're struggling. Always look like they're struggling. I think the problem is because they are from the Mediterranean. I think Serosa is from the Balearic, Mallorca, Balearic Islands. And because of that, it is, you could argue that's a subtropical environment, and you bring it here in the UK. And it does say on the RHS list of hardness, it goes down to about -5, -10 degrees. So on paper, it should be tough as old boots and do really, really well. But I haven't seen a good one. I have not seen a good one. And if I have, it's been such a long time ago that I've entirely forgotten about it. The leaves tend to just be like a bit hangy there, and the blooms don't shine enough off the leaf to actually see it very much. The Wisley Cream maybe so, but it's a dull colour. Again, people's opinions. I wouldn't grow it because there are some far better choices of clematis for winter colour, and we'll get into that when I give my recommendations. Now, Alan's final choice of his 7 plants, although it's the 8th plant, is an absolute cracker. Even a grumpy old idiot like me can't deny that this is a fantastic looking plant, and that is the Christmas rose. Although it's not related to the rose by any stretch of the imagination, it is the Helleborus nigra, which is a lovely herbaceous plant from the alpine regions of Europe. Grows to about 30 centimeters tall and flowers. It's got that pure white flowers that you get on like snowdrops, and they really shine and quite long lasting. So I really like that one. Likes semi-shady position, but just be aware of it doesn't like acidic soils. It won't perform well in that. It does require alkaline, possibly neutral, but more on the alkaline side to grow well in your garden. And there's one absolutely stunning cultivar called Potter's Will, if you can get hold of that one, which has got really big blooms in it, and that really like that. So Alan is knocked it out of the park with that last one. Hellebore nigra Potter's Will. That's if you can get. It's often sold as seeds of Potter's Will, so it's, if you can get hold of a vegetatively propagated plant from the original cultivar, then you've made it. But the trouble is, it doesn't bulk up very well. It's quite slow to bulk. I think it just puts so much energy into the blooms, it forgets it's got leaves to grow too. But there you go. There's your 7, possibly 8 top recommendations from Alan Titchmarsh with regards to plants that will flower all through the winter. And now it's my turn. So my first choice for winter flowering plants, and you could argue that this one is the daddy of all the winter flowering plants, and that is the Daphne Odora Oreo marginata. Odora means fragrant, Oreo marginata means golden margin, which refers to the colour patterning on the foliage. There is obviously the species Odora, which you can also buy with the leaves just green, but this is a great one because evergreen, it's stocky, it's fairly hardy, it's entirely poisonous in every part of the plant, but we'll set that aside for now. But its flowers are fantastic. Now the thing is with winter flowering plants is that they're trying to attract very few insects because it's so cold. There are not many around, so they don't waste energy trying to produce big colourful flowers to attract them with sight. What they do is they put out pungent fragrances that travel a fair distance and attract insects that way. So it's known to be a very fragrant plant, and the flowers, although small, like I said before, they are producing quite large clusters, so the effect is of a larger flower. So when they do flower, they're quite solid, and an absolute favourite of women of a certain age. And it is a good plant. It is bulletproof. Doesn't have an award of garden merit from the Royal Horticultural Society, which does surprise me, although there are at least 3 or 4 species of Daphne which would flower later, which do have these awards, but they're not part of this category because they don't flower over the winter period. But this one is absolutely brilliant. And what's more, there's a hybrid which is the world's most fragrant, strongest scented shrub that's ever existed. I'll tell you about that next. A hybrid of Daphne, Bolua and Odora. This hybrid was produced a few years back in New Zealand, and it broke all records when it finally came to flower, and its pungent fragrance could be smelled across the whole of the nursery. Now you can buy it today. It is called Daphne Perfume Princess, and it's always one to buy if you want to impress your friends with your Daphne knowledge. Anyway, it's not my favourite plant. I'll tell you what, my favourite ones I'm going to put to the end, so they're going to be number 5. That was number 1. Now we have choice number 2. Number 2 is the Mahonia Bracteata Soft Caress. And I particularly like this one because it does have that kind of exotic look, especially to the foliage. It doesn't get too big, grows to about 1.2 meters tall, and it has those glorious, shining bright yellow flowers that come out on flower string spikes, and it's a sight to behold. I do particularly like that one. That is one of my favourites, and if I was going to buy any Mahonia, it would be one of those. However, there are more Mahonias for you to consider. Commonly known as the Oregon Grape. I have no idea why it's called that. There are quite a few to choose from. You have some, there's plenty of species, but I think mostly people would tend to buy Aquifolium Apollo as the selected cultivar of Aquifolium, and then you've got the media hybrids like Winter Sun. There's some great to choose from. You just pick ones that you like. All those intermediate hybrids, they do get quite big. They can grow up to about 4 meters tall. I don't really see them that big around here, but 2 to 3 meters tall, absolutely. And they're pretty solid. You've got evergreen, apart from the soft caress, which has got those lovely finely cut leaves and are soft. All the Aquifolium, all the media hybrids, very, very nasty sharp leaves. And be honest with you, I don't like to plant sharp leaf plants in the garden because your hands just get ripped apart. So and that's why the media are not on my list of absolute favourites, but they are great to look. I just wouldn't plant them myself. But there you go, Oregon grapes. If you know why it's called, just stick that in the comments. I don't really want to know. Now, Alan offered up the Chimonanthus praecox, the winter sweet, earlier, and I'm going to counter that one with the Stachyurus praecox. Again, praecox still means early flowering, and I actually do quite like this one. It's got these lovely bell-shaped primrose blooms that sort of hang down off a lovely stem, and if you can get one that is flowering well, then it can almost look like curtains coming off the plant. Absolutely superb. Grows up to about 4 meters tall. Requires slightly acidic soil in order to grow well, but an absolute showstopper with this one. I do like it. It's not my favourite. Favourite one will be last. And just to show how bulletproof it is, it has been awarded the Royal Horticultural Society's Award of Garden Merit. So Chimonanthus, I'm sorry I don't like that one. Stachyurus, that's a fantastic one. I do like it, and we saw a superb specimen when we last went down to Wisley Gardens, one of my favourite of all the gardens. Getting near to the end. Now, Alan recommended Cattleya Sosa as one of his choices, and at close up, those flowers are absolutely stunning, but further away you don't really see them. But then this is where my suggestion for a winter flowering clematis comes in, and that is the Cattleya Avalanche, which I really like. It grows to between 2 and 3 meters tall. It's evergreen. It's got quite ornamental dissected deep green leaves. I do quite like those, but the blooms are absolutely stunning. They are an absolute mass of pure white with a kind of green sort of center there, and there you can see that from a mile away. It's an absolutely stunning plant. The only thing is it's just very early spring, so it does start to tip into winter. We used to get them flowering in the winter down here on the south coast, and that's why I've always liked that one. That it's way better even than Armandii, which is it's earlier than Armandii, and it's a better flower. It's far more densely floriferous, so that's a great one. It's full sun, partial shade. Again, reliably moist, well-drained soils, and I definitely recommend that one. Of all the winter flowering clematis, that's the one that I would go for. Oh my god, it's my last choice. Now, choice number 5 of my winter flowering plants are my absolute favourite, as I've said before. You've been waiting for this, I'm sure you have with bated breath. Now, these are the winter flowering chameleos. I mean, what a fantastic shrub. Glossy evergreen leaves, hardy, tolerates sun, semi-shade, full shade, and big bright flowers. My favourite one is Narumigata, which is white, pure white, and grows to about 2 to 4 meters tall. And there's even one in flower near me right now, and we're in middle of December. It's a stunning plant. Really like that one. And the second one is Yuletide, which is, again, it's got single red. Oh, it's near red. I mean, I know a lot of red camellias come out pink, but this is pretty red, yellow, nice a lump of yellow stamens in the middle of it, and again, really stands out. So if you want a flower that's going to be impressive over the winter, although that Clematis Avalanche is very good, the shrubby evergreen winter flowering camellias are absolutely brilliant. That Yuletide, that's got an award of garden merit from the Royal Horticultural Society, as many of these plants have, because there's no point recommending rubbishy ones that haven't been tested in the field. So there you have it. Fantastic plants those are. Anyway, that is the end of it. And if you've got anything that you'd like to add, any great winter flowering plants that you would recommend, put that in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And before we go, thank you for supporting this channel. Like if you liked it. If you wish to subscribe, you're more than welcome to do so. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can unsubscribe at any point in time. But if you want to be notified of whenever we release a new video, then click on that notification bell. And before I go, there is another way in which you can support this channel, because it's easy for you to do. Just click a button, but it really helps this channel get supported. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.